In the heart of Silicon Valley, where tech moguls build sleek corporate campuses and modern glass towers stretch toward the sky, stands one of America's most perplexing monuments to human obsession. The Winchester Mystery House, with its doors that open to nowhere, staircases that climb to ceilings, and windows that peer into other rooms, defies every principle of sensible architecture. But this bizarre California mansion's story begins not in the West, but in the industrial heart of 19th century Connecticut, where a shirt manufacturer's ambition would forge an empire built on American innovation and American blood. The Winchester legacy started in 1848 in New Haven, Connecticut, when Oliver Winchester, a successful men's clothing manufacturer, made an investment that would reshape American history. Winchester had built a thriving shirt-making business, but he saw an opportunity in a struggling firearms company called the Volcanic Repeating Arms Company. Located nearby New Haven, this failing enterprise held patents for a revolutionary lever-action rifle design, but lacked the capital and vision to make it profitable. Winchester didn't initially intend to revolutionize warfare. He simply recognized good business potential. In 1855, he acquired the company's assets and reorganized it as the New Haven Arms Company, later renamed the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Operating from a sprawling factory complex in New Haven, Winchester applied the same industrial efficiency he'd learned in textile manufacturing to firearms production. What emerged from those Connecticut factories would earn the nickname the gun that won the West. Winchester's lever-action rifles could fire as rapidly as a marksman could work the mechanism, a revolutionary advance over single-shot weapons that required lengthy reloading. During the Civil War, Union soldiers praised Winchester rifles for their reliability and rapid-fire capability. As America expanded westward, these same rifles became the weapon of choice for settlers, lawmen, outlaws, and the US military in countless conflicts with Native American tribes. By the 1860s, the Winchester Repeating Arms Company had become one of New Haven's largest employers, with over 1,000 workers operating the sprawling factory complex during peak production periods. The company's success transformed New Haven's economy, creating thousands of jobs not only within the factory walls but throughout the supporting industries: metal workers, wood suppliers, transportation companies, and countless other businesses that served the booming firearms manufacturer. During the Civil War, employment swelled even further as the Union Army's demand for Winchester rifles reached unprecedented levels. The factory operated around the clock, with multiple shifts keeping the production lines running continuously. By the war's end, Winchester had become one of Connecticut's largest industrial employers, and Oliver Winchester one of the state's wealthiest industrialists. But this prosperity came with a heavy moral burden that would eventually consume his family. Every Winchester rifle that left those New Haven production lines carried the potential for death, and the company's profits were inextricably linked to America's violent expansion across the continent. The very workers who crafted these precision instruments of war were unknowingly forging the chains of guilt that would later drive the Winchester family toward obsession and architectural madness. The Winchester fortune was indeed built on death, thousands upon thousands of deaths across battlefields, frontier settlements, and the expanding American West. When Oliver's son, William Wirt Winchester, inherited the company, he also inherited the moral weight of that legacy. William married Sarah Lockwood Pardee in 1862, bringing together two prominent Connecticut families. Sarah was no ordinary 19th century wife. She was multilingual, mathematically gifted, and possessed an intellect that would later manifest in ways no one could have predicted. The Winchester family's descent into darkness began in July 1866 with the birth of Annie Pardee Winchester. The couple's joy lasted exactly 15 days before their infant daughter died of a wasting disease called marasmus. For Sarah, this wasn't merely a medical tragedy. It was the first payment demanded by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. The loss devastated both parents, but while William channeled his grief into expanding the family business, Sarah turned inward. She began attending séances, a common practice during the spiritualism craze that swept America after the Civil War's massive death toll. For 15 years, she lived with her sorrow, finding occasional comfort in attempts to contact her deceased daughter. Then in 1881, tuberculosis claimed William as well, leaving 42-year-old Sarah alone with a $20 million inheritance and an unshakable belief that her family was cursed. According to legend, Sarah consulted a Boston medium who delivered a chilling message. The spirits of everyone killed by Winchester rifles would torment the Winchester family for eternity, unless Sarah took dramatic action. The medium's alleged prescription was both simple and impossible. Move west, build a house for the spirits, and never stop construction. If the building ever ceased, the spirits would claim Sarah's life. Whether this séance actually occurred remains a matter of historical debate, but Sarah Winchester's actions suggest she believed completely in the supernatural threat. In 1884, she sold her Connecticut home and travelled to San Jose, California, where she purchased a modest 8-room farmhouse. What happened next would transform both the property and Sarah's legacy forever. On September 5th, 1884, construction began on what would become the Winchester Mystery House. For the next 38 years, work never stopped, not on weekends nor holidays. Sarah employed teams of carpenters working in shifts around the clock, spending roughly $1,000 per day, equivalent to about $25,000 today, on continuous construction. But this was no ordinary building project. Sarah claimed to receive architectural plans directly from the spirit world during nightly séances in her blue room. Each evening at midnight, she would don one of the 13 coloured robes, light 13 candles, and commune with the dead until dawn. The spirit's instructions, she believed, came through automatic writing, her hand guided by supernatural forces to sketch the next day's construction plans. The results were architecturally impossible, yet somehow structurally sound. The house grew to encompass 160 rooms spread across what was originally 7 stories, reduced to 4 after earthquake damage. It featured 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 staircases, 13 bathrooms, and 6 kitchens. But the numbers alone don't capture the house's true strangeness. Visitors to the Winchester Mystery House encounter features that seem to mock the very concept of functional architecture. Staircases ascend to solid ceilings. Doors open onto walls or deadly drops to the ground below. Windows are installed in floors, offering views into rooms on lower levels. Some rooms can only be accessed by crawling through other rooms, while certain areas require navigating a maze of tiny passages designed for a woman of Sarah's petite stature. Modern architectural historians suggest that some of these seemingly nonsensical features may have served practical purposes. The famous staircase with 2-inch risers, for example, likely accommodated Sarah's severe arthritis in her later years. On April 18, 1906, the great San Francisco earthquake struck with devastating force. At the Winchester house, the top 3 stories collapsed, trapping Sarah Winchester in her bedroom for hours. When she was finally rescued from the rubble, her reaction was not relief but terror. She interpreted the earthquake as a sign that the spirits were angry with her progress. Rather than repair the earthquake damage, Sarah ordered the affected sections permanently sealed. 30 rooms became a tomb within her house, their contents left exactly as they were when the earth shook. She also had the house's main entrance boarded up forever, believing it was cursed, and never again entered through the front door. Despite the house's reputation for supernatural chaos, Sarah Winchester maintained a surprisingly organised daily routine. She held regular staff meetings, corresponded with architects and engineers, and managed complex construction projects with remarkable efficiency. She never slept in the same bedroom twice in a row and moved through the house using secret passages, perhaps to confuse any malevolent spirits that might be tracking her movements. Sarah's wealth allowed her to install the most modern conveniences of her era: gas lighting, hot water heating, and even an early intercom system. She maintained extensive gardens and greenhouses, employed a large household staff, and continued to manage her financial investments with shrewd business acumen. On September 4th, 1922, the hammering finally stopped. Sarah Winchester died peacefully in her sleep at age 82, ending the longest continuous construction project in American residential history. Legend holds that when workers arrived the next morning, they found tools exactly where they had been left, as if time itself had frozen the moment Sarah drew her last breath. Sarah's will was as mysterious as her house. She left the property to her niece, Frances Marriott, but included specific instructions about certain rooms that must never be opened. Some of those rooms remain sealed today, their contents and purpose known only to Sarah Winchester and perhaps the spirit she believed guided her hand. Today, the Winchester Mystery House operates as a popular tourist attraction, drawing hundreds of thousands of visitors annually. Ghost hunters arrive with electromagnetic field detectors and digital recorders, hoping to capture evidence of Sarah's supernatural guests. Architects study the building as an example of intuitive design unconstrained by conventional rules. Modern researchers have proposed various explanations for Sarah Winchester's behaviour. Some suggest she was simply an eccentric millionaire with unlimited resources and a passion for building. Others argue that continuous construction provided her with purpose and employment for local craftsmen during economic downturns. Some propose that her architectural experiments reflected a sophisticated understanding of spatial relationships and acoustics. Was Sarah Winchester a brilliant woman processing grief through creative expression, or was she truly in contact with spirits from beyond? What cannot be disputed is that Sarah Winchester created something remarkable. A house that challenges every assumption about architecture, death, and the lengths to which a human being will go to find peace. Whether built for the living or the dead, the Winchester Mystery House stands as America's most enigmatic monument to one woman's extraordinary relationship with the supernatural. If you enjoyed this foray into architectural madness, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more architectural eccentricities of America's wealthiest industrialists. Next time on Living Ghosts, we explore the history of the Dakota Building, where New York's elite first learned that money can't buy peace. From its revolutionary design that shocked 1880s Manhattan to the dark pattern of mysterious deaths that earned it the title of America's most haunted luxury residence.